Force is pushing back on a report that it's preparing its fleet of nuclear-armed B-52 bombers. The Air Force says they are ready for a 24-hour alert because of North Korea. No decision yet. Joining us now, Fox News military analyst Jack Keane. General, they're just putting the North Koreans on notice, aren't they? We've got you. Watch out.
Yeah, well, I think clearly the Air Force Chief of Staff did discuss this subject and the possibility that B-52s could go back on what was, the Cold War alert status, which means airplanes parked right on a tarmac, nuclear bombs in those airplanes, crews sleeping by in a nearby facility, 24/7 alert status with obviously crews being changed out in support of all of that. I doubt if we'd go back to something as rigorous as that, because we can prepare our nuclear forces in the event that we had to do something with them, with North Korea. I think likely what that discussion was about is, would this be something we should do as a further deterrent dealing with North Korea, which was the intent of why we had those forces on alert to begin with obviously dealing with the Soviet Union.
I guess the next barrier, or the next threshold, is the next launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile by the North Koreans. If they do that, do we respond by shooting it down?
I don't think so. But we're clearly getting closer, as Director of the CIA Pompeo just said last week, how much closer North Korea is getting to miniaturizing a nuclear weapon on an intercontinental ballistic missile. The issue is, do they have that weapon miniaturized? Probably pretty close. Do they have a weapon that can reach the United States, at least the West Coast, most people think? And are they able to solve the re-entry problem, because the weapon's got to go into outer space? That's a technology issue that's been around for years, and certainly it's possible for them to have acquired that technology from Russia or from China. Obviously, they didn't build ICBMs by themselves either. They're using Russian engineers or Chinese engineers to assist them in getting to that capability.
In Japan, Shinzo Abe just won an overwhelming victory. He's talking about reforming the constitution of Japan to allow it to become aggressive, if I can put it like that. Do you welcome that? Is that all part of the North Korea play?
Yeah, this is just something that's inevitable when you have the kind of rhetoric and actual capability that Kim Jong-un has been developing. And that's further militarization, of the region. And Abe, I think, won this sort of snap election that he called for because I think he felt his opponents were on their heels. But it's largely due to the fact that he's been very strong on dealing with North Korea, and also the relationship with the United States is probably at its closest it's been in years, for obvious reasons. They want the umbrella of security with the United States. But yeah, this is something that's just, and that's one of the sad commentaries what Kim Jong-un is doing.
Yeah.
Potentially nuclearizing the entire region. Now listen, this will get China's attention, Stuart.
Yeah.
Because China doesn't want Japan or South Korea also to have nuclear weapons. That is clearly not something that's in their national interest. So that's further pressure on China as they come out of this 19th Communist Party Congress to really start putting even more pressure on North Korea.
Will you deal with this real fast for me, General? I've got a headline from the Washington Post, the whole editorial board. John Kelly owes the Congresswoman an apology. Now, this refers to the Democrat Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. What do you say? Cap it all out. What do you say to this?
I just wish they all lower the volume here, and let's just get on with the real problems in the world. I think General Kelly did the nation a service in the civics lesson he provided that was very eloquent and heartfelt about how a Gold Star family and what happens to a soldier who's killed is dealing with a tragedy like this. And yes, he did call out the Congresswoman for interfering largely in the process, and by commenting on the president's comments that should be quite confidential in dealing with that spouse. I mean, that was a major thrust of his comments. I don't think. You asked me a question, I'll answer it. I don't think he owes her any apology.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. General Keane, thanks very much for joining us as always. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good talking to you, Stuart.
Yes, sir.